check and make sure she can hear and see.
Christina, can you hear us? Christina, can you hear us? There we go. All right, we'll call this meeting to order at 6:30. Welcome, everyone, this evening. If you'd like to join us, we will now say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the next item on our agenda this evening is any amendments to the agenda. Dr. Schaefer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Administration has none to offer this evening. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. I would just like to take a minute and make a short little announcement. We had advertised publicly that we were going to hold our second preliminary determination hearings for a couple projects that would be down the road in the future. And tonight would have been our annual budget hearing, but with Mrs. Ward unable to be here in person, we have pushed those resolution preliminary determination hearings to November, and October 27th, we will have a budget hearing. By statute, all board members are required to be present and in the room to be a part of the discussion and to cast a vote, and I felt that was kind of important that all board members be around for things like money discussion. All right, moving right along. Next item on the agenda, Students of the Month, Dr. Schaefer.
Thank you, Mrs. Cherry. And we are back again this year and so pleased to be honoring our Students of the Month. And we are going to have Mrs. Perkins from North Elementary kick off this evening. And as we start, I want to thank the parents, grandparents, and teachers for, number one, raising great kids, but also recognizing great kids. And parents or grandparents, if your child is being recognized, you want to kind of move up to the front here to get a better picture of something, please feel free to do so. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm happy to introduce North Elementary Student of the Month, Maggie Anderson, daughter of Kylie and Josh Anderson. Maggie is a bright and bubbly first grade student in Mrs. Crossley's class. When we talked, Maggie answered my questions with full enthusiasm. She told me that her favorite thing about her first grade class is that she loves to learn, especially when she is working on improving her handwriting. Her absolute favorite at North Elementary is painting and art class, and as we chatted, it became clear that art is truly a passion. If Maggie could change one thing to make North Elementary a better place, she would be sure we had more bright paint colors to use and would add sparkles to the paint. At home, Maggie has a little sister, Lainey, and Maggie likes to color with her. Maggie also likes to paint at home, and she is especially proud of a splatter painting that she did because it looks so pretty in the window. If Maggie were in charge for one day, she would stay at home with her sister alone, and they would spend the day making slime, painting with glitter, and eating birthday cake. Maggie shared that her favorite thing about her parents is that they take her places, and while there aren't any big trips planned yet, she is hopeful that one day they'll make it to Disney World. When I asked Maggie what she wants to be when she grows up, she couldn't pick just one thing. There were just too many possibilities. Her list includes helping cats find homes and providing them supplies, becoming a dolphin trainer, or helping kids who are lost find their families. Before we wrapped our chat, Maggie wanted to make sure I knew some of her favorite things. Her favorite food, strawberries, milkshake, strawberry banana, dessert, brownie with strawberries and chocolate syrup. Animal, a sea turtle, and her favorite thing that she owns is a pearl. And in true Maggie fashion, after sharing her favorites, she sweetly asked me about mine. Our Student of the Month committee was thrilled to support Maggie's nomination. Nurse Bree shared that Maggie has a sweet spirit is kind to everyone in the hallway, and always greets her with an enthusiastic Heiner Spree. Mrs. Starks added that Maggie works hard, helps others during art, and is a truly creative kiddo. Mrs. Crossley nominated Maggie and had the following to say about her. This month's trait is collaboration, and Maggie does a great job demonstrating this trait. She works very hard to include everyone she is working with and to help ensure they understand what they need to be doing. She's energetic and kind. She tries very hard to make sure everyone gets a turn when working with a group, as well as in partners. She encourages her partner during Think, Pair, Share time to share their thoughts with her and willingly works with anyone who needs a partner. Maggie, you are truly deserving of this recognition. Congratulations for being North Elementary Student of the Month. We're proud of you.
Congratulations, Maggie. And next, we're going to honor the South Elementary Student of the Month, and Mrs. Cheryl Moss is going to introduce our student.
Good evening, everyone. South Elementary is proud to introduce Eliana and Dise at this month's Students of the Month. Eliana is a student in Mrs. Blair's second grade class. She lives with her mom and her 3 brothers. When you first meet Eliana, you notice that she's quiet, but she's super kind and sweet. Eliana loves to help others. According to Eliana, when I asked her, South Elementary is a great place because she likes to earn classroom celebrations. And they just had a classroom celebration earning snow cones as a whole class. She enjoys playing tag and going on the slides at recess. And she also enjoys specials, especially art and physical education. She enjoys when Miss Goodpaster teaches her about different jobs she can do when she gets older, like being a trainer. And at home, in her spare time, Eliana enjoys baking, and she likes making blueberry muffins and strawberry muffins with her mom. When asked who has been a good influence on her life, Eliana, without hesitation, said her mother. She said that her mother is kind and stops whatever she is doing to always help people. If given the opportunity to spend the day any way she would like, Eliana said that she would have recess all day. She said that she would end up having a bounce house there and play tag and eat nacho-flavored Doritos. When Eliana grows up, she wants to be a nurse, just like her mom. Eliana was nominated by her teacher, Mrs. Blair. We have been working really hard on the skill of collaboration. And Mrs. Blair stated that Eliana has always shown collaboration since day one. And many times she is willing to help a partner in class. She also follows the instruction. And there's been many times when Eliana's table friends have been absent, and she's the first one to help the students out and put their papers away and tell them where they go in their folders. Eliana is right out at her seat helping as soon as she can. And Mrs. Blair says she loves how well she works with others. Congratulations, Eliana, on being South Student of the Month. We're so proud of you.
Congratulations, Eliana. Now, Mrs. Berkey will introduce our middle school student of the month.
All right. This month I am proud to introduce our Danville Community Middle School Student of the Month, 8th grader Hallie Burris. Hallie is the daughter of Leah and Buck Burris and the big sister to Cannon, a 6th grader, and Xander, a 2nd grader. When asked what she enjoys most about her siblings, she laughed and said she realizes just how quiet and boring life feels when they aren't around. She loves playing games with them, noting that Cannon can already beat her in basketball and probably soccer, but she has him covered in horseback riding and Rocket League. She said the 3 of them spend a lot of time playing games on their infinity table and gathering for board games. Hallie invests herself wholeheartedly in all of her classes, but she especially enjoys social studies with Mr. Jeffries. She appreciates the creative ways he makes content come alive and feels his approach helps her truly understand history. She also values Mrs. Stegmuller in ELA, sharing that she is kind, supportive, and explains things clearly so that Hallie knows exactly how to approach her work. These relationships with her teachers have helped her continue to excel and grow in her learning. Outside of school, Hallie has shifted her focus from volleyball to horseback riding, a passion she has pursued for 4 to 5 years. She competes in barrel racing, poles, and walk trot, and is now working toward the challenge of show jumping. One of her goals is to compete at the Hendricks County Fair. Looking further ahead, Hallie sees herself involved with animals in her future as well, and she has been thoughtfully considering a career in animal science. Hallie was selected as Student of the Month for exemplifying our warrior way trait of collaboration. When I asked her what collaboration means, she shared that she loves to work with friends, but knows they must focus on completing the task first. If she doesn't have a choice of partners, she seeks out the person who pays attention, and when she is in a leadership role, she makes sure to draw everyone in by asking for their input so they feel their contributions matter. That intentional way of working with others shows maturity and leadership beyond her years. Her teachers wholeheartedly agree. Mr. Jeffrey said Hallie is an outstanding student whose commitment to learning sets her apart. She doesn't ask, what can I do to earn an A, but instead, how can I excel and make the most of this opportunity? Mrs. Stegmuller added, Hallie is an outstanding student who demonstrates hard work, perseverance, and positivity every day. She is a true role model and a bright presence in our classroom. And Mrs. Richardson noted, Hallie's positive attitude is contagious. She shows kindness to everyone, follows through with responsibilities, and is always willing to help. On a personal note, Hallie and I find out we have quite a bit in common, whether it's watching Wicked countless times, enjoying the drama and mystery of Outer Banks, or dreaming of traveling to Greece someday to experience the history and breathtaking architecture. Her goal in life is to travel the world, and I think that sense of curiosity and adventure reflects who she already is. Someone who embraces new experiences, works hard to succeed, and brings joy to those around her. Please join me in congratulating our September Student of the Month, Hallie Burris.
Congratulations, Hallie. And Mr. Clodfelder is going to introduce our High School Student of the Month.
I'd like to introduce you to Winsley Dorsey. Winsley was nominated by Yvonne Diaz in the World Language Department. I've had the privilege of teaching Winsley from Spanish 1 up to Spanish ACP, with the exception of Spanish 2, and throughout these years, I have witnessed her remarkable growth and dedication. Her progress in Spanish has been continuous and impressive, and she approaches every challenge with perseverance and determination. Winsley describes her proudest accomplishment as persevering through the difficult classes while maintaining good grades. She attributes her success to always using her time wisely and never letting a moment go to waste. She finds joy in expanding her vocabulary and discovering new ways to communicate in another language, which shows her love for learning and her commitment to excellence. In addition to her academic achievements, Winsley is kind, respectful, and a considerate student who contributes positively to the classroom environment. She is also a dedicated member of the soccer team, where she is a very capable forward and recently won a sectional championship. Winsley herself says what helps her succeed as a student is her desire to learn new things and to challenge herself daily. She also offers valuable advice to her peers to always keep a good balance between personal time and work time. These words reflect maturity, discipline, and wisdom that make Winsley such an outstanding student. For these reasons, I'm honored to recommend Winsley Dorsey for this recognition. She truly embodies the qualities of an exemplary student, and it is a privilege to celebrate her accomplishments.
Congratulations, Winsley, and to all of our Students of the Month.
All right, the next item on our agenda is student commendations, Dr. Schaefer.
Thank you, Mrs. Cherry. Mrs. Crosby, if you would join me. Is Miss Crosby, is Mrs. LaPlay is here tonight?
No, she's not.
Just you? Okay.
Just,
Awesome. We're glad to
she
have
had
you.
to wrap up fees and stuff.
We understand. It's that time of year. We are going to recognize tonight our middle school FFA horticulture CDE winners, state level. You have stuff too?
I do.
Well, good. You got better stuff than I got. Come on.
Who are you doing first?
So we're gonna do middle school.
Which one? Sorry, that sounded really arrogant. Okay.
We'll start with first place. How's that?
Yeah, actually. Okay, I need this one. I'm so sorry, guys.
Bear with us while we get organized here. It is for a good cause.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, we are going to begin with the FFA State Horticulture CDE first place middle school team. And we're going to begin here with Savannah Doty. Savannah, if you would come forward. We're going to have you stay up here. I'll scoot over. You can stay right there. Caitlin Shepard, first place middle school, first place individual. Amara Howard, first place middle school team, third place individual. Sarah Hopper, third place middle school team. Allison Geyer, also third place middle school team. And Tenley Crooks, also third place middle school team. So, Mrs. Crosby, can you give us a quick snippet of what they have accomplished here?
Yeah, I'll grab my post-it though. Okay, so this is the middle school team. I didn't realize it until after they competed that I put our first place team as our 8th graders, and then our third place team was our 7th graders. So this is a really big deal. So what they do is they have to memorize a lot of different flowers, fruits and vegetables, ornamentals, so like the things you put in your yard, they have to actually know what those are, and they can identify them. And then new for middle school is they also did what's called judging classes. And so they have to do quality judging on fruits and vegetables and then plants. So what I like to tell them, if you're going to the store and buying tomatoes, which one are you going to buy? So there's a process behind that. There's like a reason why they pick what they pick. And so they got to do that, and then they took a general knowledge test. So I'm really proud of them. I think all of them actually, except for Caitlin, this was their very first year, right? Did you do it last year, Dodie? Yeah, so everybody, it was their first year except for Caitlin. So to be their first time and do that well is really, really good.
On behalf of the board, I want to congratulate you for finishing in the top 5 in the state, first place in the state. We are going to read, the board's going to read and adopt a resolution in your honor into the board minutes tonight. So I'm going to give you a copy of that. You're welcome. And Mrs. Cherry is
Okay.
going to read that.
Resolution of congratulations by the Danville Community School Corporation Board of School Trustees. Whereas the Danville Community School Corporation Board of School Trustees wishes to recognize the outstanding performance by the students and sponsors of the Danville Community Middle School FFA Chapter Horticulture teams during the 2025-2026 academic school year. And whereas the State Horticulture Career Development Unit horticulture team members Caitlin Shepard, Amara Howard, and Savannah Doughty individually placed first, third, and fourth respectively and captured first place as a team overall. And whereas the State Horticultural Career Development Event horticulture team members Sarah Hopper, Allie Geyer, and Tinley Crooks all captured third place as a team overall. And whereas it is appropriate and fitting for the Danville Community School Board to recognize and congratulate teachers and sponsors, Ms. Laura Crosby and Mrs. Jillian Lepley, and all members of the middle school horticulture team now and therefore. Be it resolved by the members of the Danville Community School Board of Trustees that the staff and students of the Danville Community Middle School FFA Chapter Horticulture teams are to be congratulated on their outstanding performance in the Indiana State FFA competition. I need a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. All in favor?
Aye.
That is approved this evening, ladies. Congratulations.
Congratulations. We need to get a quick picture, right?
Wait, this is your guys', so I don't know how you can figure it out. You can't? I don't know. You think it's just not
What-
in there?
What if we shift it to the other side? To the other side. Shift
And
to
then
the
there's
other
also this.
side. First, everybody step back.
Yes, that's a good idea. Yeah. Sorry, guys, we just have so many things.
And see it.
Big smiles.
Says all.
1, 2, 3. I'm gonna do one more, okay?
All right, congratulations. And now we're going to put the high school team through the same drill. We would like to recognize the FFA State Horticulture CDE fourth place high school team. So we're going to call you guys up and give you your recognition. Ailey Jeffries. Branson Tenery. You also did an outstanding job of providing a prayer for us before the meeting tonight. Callahan Barnhart. And Siani Mitchell. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so this, for high school, it's basically the same as middle school, but a lot more. So instead of, I don't know, the handful of identification specimen, they have 3 times that much. But also for these guys in this contest, there were a record high number of students this year, and there were almost 200 students. So a really big deal. This contest has grown since when I started a long time ago. And so it's really, really competitive, and they did a really good job. They have banner stuff coming at state convention. So because they're in the top 4, they will walk across the stage at the state convention in June. That location has not been determined yet, so I can't say where it's at. So I'm really proud of them. They did a good job.
So I'm going to have you better at the base of the board, please. Mrs. Cherry will read the resolution.
Okay. Resolution of congratulations by the Danville Community School Corporation Board of School Trustees. Whereas the Danville Community School Corporation Board of School Trustees wishes to recognize the outstanding performance by the students and sponsors of the Danville Community High School FFA Chapter Horticulture Team during the 2025-2026 academic school year. Whereas the Danville Community High School FFA Horticultural CDE team, including team members Siani Mitchell, Callahan Barnhart, Branison Tinnery, Ailey Jeffries, captured 4th place overall in the state competition, and whereas it is appropriate and fitting for the Danville Community School Board to recognize and congratulate teachers and sponsors, Mrs. Jillian Lepley and Ms. Laura Crosby, and all members of the high school horticulture team now and therefore. Be it resolved by the members of the Danville Community Board of School Trustees that the students and staff of the Danville Community High School FFA Chapter Horticulture Team are to be congratulated on their outstanding performance in the Indiana State FFA competition. I need a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Hempsel. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That was approved this evening. Congratulations, everyone. Good job. There's one. All right, the next item on the agenda is community input. No one signed up to speak. However, if you would like to speak, step to the podium, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to share your thoughts. Any takers? All right, we'll take a short pause. For those who would like to exit, may leave the room. I would always love to have you stay, but I understand if you have other plans this evening. Thank you for coming.
This is Beth. Before we get to the rest of the voting stuff, are you ready? Letting you know in case
Okay.
it were to be challenged later on.
Is that for any vote?
It says all votes taken during school board meetings at which least one board member.
Okay.
Music communication must be taken to vote. Change the policy, wouldn't it?
Chris, where's our friend TK this evening?
I can't hear Christina.
I can't either.
I believe he's in Tennessee.
And according to this, it's supposed to be a stipulation.
Don't quote me on that, though. I think he might be visiting Doug Cat, maybe. Thought maybe he was at the football game this weekend or something. And
Christina, can you say something?
no, I know he wasn't.
There we go.
I asked him about it.
Thank you.
I do think he plays down there.
It's working.
She looks like she's somewhere more fun than where we are.
Your cue, and then you'll say the name, and then, yes, she says the name, right? All right, Jim pointed out that since Christina is virtual, every time we take a vote, we're going to do it by roll call. So I'll say, now we're going to take a vote, and that'll be Penny's sign to say everyone's name. She'll say everyone's name and then record your vote, and then we'll move on.
Be aware of it. I'm just pointing out because it's where? In policy.
That's fine. Christina, did you hear all of that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Are we ready to move along here? Next item on the agenda, report to the board. School board quarterly goal update, Dr. Schaefer.
Thank you, Mrs. Cherry. I just want to give the board a brief update on the school board goals this evening. And we have 3. The first one is in district operations, the second in district finance, and the third in district educational goals. The operational goal was to implement our FMX software package fully. That's now at roughly about 95% plus complete. The on-site team worked this summer getting all the codes, all of our equipment tagged in, scanned in, and uploaded into the system. That is done. Building mapping is going to be a little bit ongoing, so it's going to be difficult to say this is 100% done. until we're done with our construction, particularly at the high school. Now, South is done. We're getting those pieces put in, so I have a little bit of work to do as we move through the high school to get those building maps and blueprints in as they continue to change. The ongoing effort right now is to add in our remaining assets and inventory so that the financial planning application can be fully utilized once all those pieces and parts are in there. The updated demographic study, which is also part of this operationally, is underway. The enrollment data has already been sent to McKibben Demography, and that study will be completed in late October. I did send the membership counts to Mr. McKibben this week, and we'll have that report back actually any day. Right now, our board meeting calendar doesn't match up with his calendar very well right now because we're hoping to have him here at the November meeting. Right now, his first opening is in January, but I'll be able to send the written report out to you ahead of that time. In terms of the finance goal, which is our second goal, that is ongoing with our current building projects and master campus plan, both making good progress. Those projects continue within scope and budget, and we anticipate a full construction update from our construction team at the November meeting, regular school board meeting. The debt service rate adjustment to 80 cents was on track until recent legislation changes affecting the assessed valuation changed that trajectory of how we'll need to manage our debt service and our operations rates and levies. The full effect of those changes will result in lower assessed valuation of property, which makes it difficult, if not impossible, to meet the levy demand necessary to make our committed debt service obligation payments while also working to lower the tax rate at the same time. We will maintain our current debt and operations rate through all of 2025, of course. As we have advertised here recently, we anticipate that the operations rate will fall very slightly in 2026, and the debt service rate may need to tick up a few cents to produce the levy needed to meet the debt service obligations. Even without lowering tax rates, taxpayers will begin to see property tax relief as assessed valuation slows down or lowers due to these changes. The 2026 increase in AV was very modest at 4.72 for the property in our district. I say it was modest considering we were the second highest in the county this year. And looking at some others around us, Putnam County AV increased more than ours did this year, actually, which was surprising, I will say. But that's what happened this year. The education goal, which is our third goal, is coming along nicely on pace. The portrait of a learner skills have been identified, and work will also be ongoing this fall to identify the learning opportunities to promote and assess those skills. The career coaching model, which is the second part of that, we have the portrait of a learner, we have the career coaching model, and that model is being implemented, and the career coaching team is meeting again this fall to align our field trip experiences to align with our college and career experience objectives to promote career awareness from our students. In fact, if you pick that up tonight, our Students of the Month are recognized based on collaboration. That is actually one of our portrait of a learner skills that we've identified. So it's good to see the buildings reinforcing those types of skills as we move through time. So we continue to work in both of those areas with the Service Center and in conjunction with CIESC, which is our Service Center, and the Henderson College Network. A joint meeting was held in September with the other county districts to collaborate together on the career coaching model to promote a countywide effort. And a framework for that model work is included below. So that's attached in your packet. And those are some progress we're making, and not just as a district, but also working together with the other county schools to promote college and career readiness. So again, just a kind of a quick overview on the goals tonight. Be happy to answer questions that you might have as a board.
What was our new student count?
We are at 2917 was the final official count, 2917.
Of how many students now?
146, I believe, from last year. That's fall to fall.
Fall to fall.
Fall to fall. We were up 151 the previous year. We were up 151 this year, which I believe is a 5.3% increase from a year ago.
Any other comments or questions?
One more for me. You were talking about the debt service rate having to adjust it a little. It's safe to say if what happened at the State House this past winter with what they've done, we would have been on track for keeping our goals.
Absolutely.
Lowering our rate paying our debts back as
Yes,
well, right?
we were on, yeah, I appreciate the question. We were definitely on track to make our debt payments and lower the tax rate.
Right.
With the increase in AV that we normally would have seen. With the changes that occurred at the State House, which are things beyond any of the board members' control, those adjustments kind of just change the math is what they do. So since AV is going down or being held down more than what we were projected for it to increase, now the tax rate has to come up a little bit to bring in the same amount of levy that we were going to need to bring in to pay those debt obligations.
Right. I think it's important for everybody to understand that and get that word out there that, you know, we were dead set on keeping something,
Yes.
what we had planned, and just wanted to get it, we need to make sure that gets out there to everyone.
That's an accurate message. Good to put out there because the board, you haven't changed anything you set out to do.
Right.
You've kept with integrity your process moving forward. The game changed a little bit in how we manage that, so we managed a bit differently, but essentially the debt payments will be the debt payments that they were going to be anyway.
Right.
Yep.
Yep, thanks.
Anything else? All right, next item on the agenda, approval of the regular school board meeting minutes from September 8th, 2025. I need a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hempsel. We will now take a roll call vote.
Corey Himsel,
Aye.
Beth Cherry,
Aye.
Christina Ward. Aye. Austin Brown,
Aye.
and Jim Bryant.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, approval of the public hearing notice minutes for October 1st, 2025. I need a motion to approve the public hearing notice minutes from October 1st, 2025.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Hempsel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. We will now take a roll call vote.
Corey Himsel,
Aye.
Beth Cherry,
Aye.
Christina Ward. Aye. Austin Brown,
Aye.
Jim Bryant.
Aye.
All right, that passed unanimously. Next item on the agenda, Treasurer's Report, Mr. Herbert.
Thank you, Mrs. Cherry. Report here for the month. We had September fund balances in our property and state tax supported funds of $7,527,075. We had educational fund expenditures of $1,901,498. We had no expenditures in our debt service fund, and our operations fund had expenditures of $750,177. We did transfer $275,000 from the education to the operations fund, and this transfer brings the corporation's total transfers for the year to 11.73% of the total education fund revenue and 12.62% of the total state tuition support. I would ask for the board's approval and happy to answer any questions.
Motion to approve the Treasurer's Report as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. Mr. Brown, second.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Ward. Comments or questions?
Dr. Schaefer, I see that our HRH fund has grown again for the year. It's up there a considerable amount of money. When will you be bringing forth some plans as to what your intentions are to recommend what we do with that money?
What we're planning to do with the HRH money, the reimbursement fund, is to use that as payment towards the football field renovation, because that's what it was originally intended for when that fund was set up. The thought was to help replace the turf when that needed to be replaced, so we plan to put it towards the football field renovation as part of that project.
So you're going to move the money back into that?
Yes, it'd just be simply moving the money into the project.
Because it's already been done, paid for, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yep. It's just a reimbursement at this point of that fund.
Okay.
What's the cost of that?
Total cost, more than we have in that fund, but we'll take the balance of that fund that was provided by HRH for that purpose, and that's the amount we'll move into the reimbursement of the construction fund.
And then when that reimburses that, are you saying that the construction fund is short that amount of money to cover things?
No.
So then what will that money, it's going into the construction fund to take care of it. And then that frees up that amount of money in the construction fund. What's that going to be used for?
That'll just roll forward to cover other things that we're doing, which, classrooms, pool, any of those other parts that still need to be paid out. And you don't necessarily pay for it all on each piece of the project. As we get billings for construction management, as we get billed by them, we'll roll those dollars in there, which will help us make sure that we can finish out our project.
As you see those dollars being used, I would like to see a update from time to time that we've done that.
Sure, yeah,
Thank
be
you.
glad to. Mhm.
All right, any other comments or questions? All right, we will now take a roll call vote.
Corey Hinsel,
Aye.
Beth Cherry,
Aye.
Christina Ward. Aye. Austin Brown,
Aye.
and Jim Bryan.
Aye.
All right, that passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, quarterly reports. Mr. Herbert.
Thank you, Mrs. Cherry. Before you, you have several of our quarterly snapshots for not only our general obligation bonds, but all of our first mortgage bonds. But also I'd like to report that at the end of the third quarter here, the school corporation has spent or encumbered 82.14% of the education fund, along with at the end of the third quarter, we have spent or encumbered 83.39% of the operations fund. Obviously, we would look to see if you're just doing simple math, that divided out over the year would be 75%, would kind of be our target area. And obviously, we're a little bit above that in both of those. A couple things to point out, and because of that, is that the budgets were set, again, back in October. As we have seen over the year, and as we just referenced our ADM count, we have seen a number of continued growth in our student population, which in turn means we have to hire more teachers, we have more additional expenses, more additional costs. And so that's why that's a little bit higher than where we would want it to be. But that is, again, always kind of planned for and accounted for as we move forward. With that also in consideration, when we look at the revenue side, again, this just being the expense side, the revenue side, we're actually at about 80% of our targeted budget there. But that also does not include sort of the catch-up dollars that we will receive because of our increased ADM count, that we will see those coming in here in November and December. So we should see really both both expenditures and revenue being slightly higher than the actual budgeted numbers from last year. So again, that is the financial reports here for the quarter. I'm more than happy to answer any questions and would ask for the board's approval.
Motion to approve the quarterly report as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Any comments or questions?
I have a couple questions, Mr. Herbert. On the construction, and it's difficult for me to move back and forth here, but 2024 GEO bond, which was slated for not GEO bond, but the 2024 bands, which now has a zero balance. And the last thing that's noted underneath what was spent was back on 9/18 of 25, there was a transfer of just over $17,000. Where was that transferred to?
That would have been transferred into the 2024 construction fund. So that was just interest that was paid out in the last month before we had essentially cleared that account out. And so that was interest accumulated after we had essentially paid the final high school payment from that ban. And so then that money would just transfer into the other construction account.
Okay. And then as I was studying the quarterly update that I've asked for in reference to the other GEO bonds, starting with the GEO bond related to the maintenance facility. The maintenance facility is completely done now, is that correct?
It is 98% done. We are still waiting on the final punch list for just a couple of few items to be completed.
Okay. When that bond was first brought to us for approval, there was a discussion that by going this route, we would see a significant savings over the other path we were going to take. But yet, the current update doesn't seem to reflect that much of a balance left over to move over to the operations fund. What happened there?
Well, we can't move those dollars over to the operations fund, but we can use it to offset other expenses.
Well,
And
it
that's
says the
what-
remaining funds are for operational expenses.
Correct, which means we have to bring those expenses in here. That would be things that we have done. If you kind of look up towards the top of that list, new buses would be included in that. There was a sign that was included in that for North Elementary, actually the road sign. So those are other things and expenses that have naturally come out of the operations fund that in our GEO bond strategy, by us moving expenditures out of the operations fund and moving it to a GEO bond, those are things we were able to complete by saving some of the dollars and shifting the project the way that we did.
So within all those GEO bonds, because I think we got 3 or 4 of them there, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Each of them are noting potential balances, and each of them have that statement about the operational expenses. How is that not able to help us with our looming situation of dealing with an operational shortfall financially in the operations fund?
Because again, this can only help offset expenses, and they can only be one-time expenses. So a lot of times, what the main driver or main thing that we use our GEO bonds for, that we've quite frequently talked about, are buses and Chromebooks. Buses, we've kind of tried to reduce as far as how much we are going to be, I guess, rotating our fleet, like we discussed when we had our the bus replacement plan, and we'll continue to talk about that when we get to our October 27th meeting. We've kind of started to scale that back a little bit to help reduce some of those expenses. But some of the other things that we do offset in through our GEO bonds that are helping offset the operational fund costs are going to be the Chromebooks. We can pull any other one-time items that we have. We can pull those over and try to use these extra GEO bond dollars that are in the 22, the 23, the 24 GEOs that we can use to help kind of offset and help with that dilemma that we have coming through.
So is in our 2026 appropriations, we're not anticipating any one-time expenditures then, because this process is taking care of all that?
Yes, we're trying to either reduce our one-time expenditures, and if we do have things that we do need to purchase that are a one-time expense, then we try to shift those into the general obligation bonds.
And then backing this up is, as debt falls off, what we approved back in June regarding potential for future GEO bonds
Correct, yes.
based upon how much debt falls off, but totally no more than 24 million something.
Correct, yes. Those will be used as future needs arise.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions?
Nope, good.
All right, we will now take a roll call vote.
Corey Hinsel,
Aye.
Beth Cherry,
Aye.
Christina Ward. Aye. Austin Brown,
Aye.
and Jim Bryant.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, approval of claims, Mr. Herbert.
Thank you, Mr. Cherry. We have 3 claims here before us this evening. We have our pre-written claims of $731,004.35. We have our first written claim or regular voucher of $523,717.20. And then we have our final claim of $1,166,917.10. Bringing total claims for the month to $2,421,638.65. I would ask for the board's approval of our claims here for the month of September, and happy to answer any questions.
Motion to approve the claims as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hempsel. Comments or questions?
The contracted buses that I see here, what do we use those buses for?
That's our yellow buses that we are transporting students in.
So just normal everyday transportation?
How'd that work out?
My only hesitation is cost. But as far as the actual transportation of the students and how they've worked with us, extremely well.
And
They've done an outstanding job.
is this in lieu of driver shortage still, or
Correct, yes.
trying to lighten the loads per route?
It is, one is for driver shortage. As we continue to hire on drivers, we've been able to reduce that. We started with the start of the year with 4 of our contract drivers. We're down to 3 now. We've been able to start to reduce that. We're hoping that we have a couple more drivers in training, that as we get them online and up and running in routes, we can continue to reduce this number down till we get to where we're not reliant on them at all.
So Dr. Shaver, how many drivers are we short right now?
I would say 3+. We need to replace those 3 routes, and then it would be nice to continue to expand a little bit. I think we could use 5 drivers for sure, but we've also been expanding a little bit as we've been bringing on drivers, because we had a couple routes that we just had to have another bus. So as we brought people on, we're running another route or 2 than we were. In the process, as Mr. Herbert mentioned, we've still reduced one of those contracted routes, but we're still at 3. Now we'd like to get those replaced with regular route drivers. And then just due to the need for subs and potential need to continue to expand, we'd like to hire a couple more drivers. So we have a couple in training right now and continue to look for drivers and add as we're capable of doing.
Do they cover their own fuel when they're doing that too?
Yeah, they cover all their costs. They cover insurance. They cover their any mechanical needs of their buses and their fuel and everything.
Everything, yeah.
Any other questions? All right, well, now I'll take a roll call vote.
Corey Hinsel,
Aye.
Beth Cherry,
Aye.
Christina Ward. Aye. Austin Brown,
Aye.
Jim Bryant.
Aye.
All right, that passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, approval of payroll claims. Mr. Herbert.
Thank you, Mrs. Cherry. We do have 3 claims for payroll here this evening. Excuse me. We have the September 12th payroll claim of $857,363.40. We have our September 26th payroll claim of $839,824.53. We have our October 10th payroll claim of $845,801.01, bringing all 3 total payroll claims to $2,542,988.94. I would ask for the board's approval of our payroll claims this evening, and happy to answer any questions.
All right, I need a motion to approve the payroll claims as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Hempsel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Comments or questions? We will now take a roll call vote.
Corey Hinsel,
Aye.
Beth Cherry,
Aye.
Christina Ward. Aye. Austin Brown,
Aye.
Jim Bryant.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda is old business. Seeing as we have none, we'll move right along to new business. Consider approval of personnel recommendations. Dr. Schaefer.
Thank you, Mrs. Cherry. And the personnel report is before you, and I would recommend approval of it as submitted. And just note, we are approving our winter lay coaches in this report.
I need a motion to approve the personnel report as submitted.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Comments or questions?
Dr. Schaefer, are you any closer to determining what you're going to do with the vacated position of coordinator of operations that I think vacated back in August? Are you going to eliminate that, or where are you at with that process?
What we've done currently is try to redistribute some of those duties, all those duties, to other people on our workforce. And right now, we've kind of got that set up, and we're giving a little time to see how it goes. When I say see how it goes, can we function efficiently with those work pieces on other people's desks? I will tell you, it's been a little challenging here with a couple of things. So we haven't ruled out shifting some of those to a single person. We just aren't quite sure what that will look like yet. Is this going to require us to find someone else in the district where we can maybe expand their role a little bit and give some of those duties to them? And a lot of it gets down to making sure our door controls and facilities are set up. Just tonight, for example, we had a little glitch with the door controls and getting those set up. When you have those on one person's job description who's used to doing that and working with it all the time, it's more efficient, it works a little bit better. So as we've distributed duties, we're given a little bit of time to see if we can manage that well in the best interest of everybody in the district. If we can, we'll keep moving down that path. If we can't, then we're going to have to back up and say, okay, does this need to be an expanded role for someone? Do we have someone we can hand sort of all these duties to? Do we need to add someone at hopefully a little lesser cost to do it a little bit a more efficient way than we did previously so we can manage the duties? So right now, I would say between now and probably the end of the semester. We're going to see how things are going. If we can manage it that way, great. If not, then we'll back up and have to make some changes.
When you say, sorry, Jim, when you say see how it's going, who does that position report to? Is it, who's in charge of that coordinator? Who do they report to?
Yeah, it reported up through Mr. Land, who's a facilities director. And then would report up to Mr. Herbert on the operations side.
Okay. I wasn't sure
Yeah.
Oliphant had a say in that, or they reported to him some. You talking about door safety?
We had more of a joint role initially. As we brought SROs on, they've been able to self-manage the department a little bit better. So that position's duties were more predominantly just on facilities.
Okay.
So that's really where it lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And so that position, as you're looking at that, you haven't made any staffing cuts to the pending addressing shortfall in the operations fund. The salary for that position and benefits does come out of the operations fund, doesn't it?
That's correct. So right now, we have an ongoing savings to the operations fund as we speak.
And if we eliminate that position, we'd have a continued ongoing savings.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? All right, we'll now take a roll call vote.
Corey Hinsel,
Aye.
Beth Cherry,
Aye.
Christina Ward. Aye. Austin Brown,
Aye.
Jim Bryant.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, approval of administration building bids. Mr. Herbert.
Thank you, Mrs. Cherry. Before you this evening, we do have the formal request for the board's approval of the submitted bids for our administration building project. I'd also like to reference that Mr. Adam Wiesner from Barton & Co. Villama, our architecting firm, is present with us this evening that would be able to answer any additional questions that we might have. But I will say that we are recommending approval of the TD Construction Company from Danville, Indiana, as the contractor for this project. TD Construction submitted the lowest responsive and respondable bid with a base bid amount of $3,350,000. We further recommend that all the add alternates, with the exception of number 3C, be accepted. This pertains to the new asphalt shingles that would have gone on the old portion of the building, with the other alternates accepting technically 3A and 3B. That 3C alternate would not be needed. So therefore, we are recommending rejecting that alternate but accepting the other ones. Again, they were the TD Construction Company, was the lowest responsive and respondable bidder. And you can also see the bid tab is attached to your board docs. You can see where those bids did come in at. So again, happy to answer any questions, and so would Mr. Wiesner, but would ask for the board's approval of the bids here for the administrative building project.
I need a motion to approve the administration building bids as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Ward. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Comments or questions?
Just a comment or a question. So the letter that we have in here, it looks like the overall bid with all the alternates is $4,032,000.
That is correct.
Does that include the parking lot that we had talked about?
Yes.
And some of that exterior pieces that we kind of talked about at?
Yes, the parking lot was one of the alternates, so
Okay.
with that accepted, it's within that number.
Okay, so with that all coming in at the $4,032,000, Dr. Schaefer, and that particular GEO bond, because that's being paid for out of a GEO bond, isn't it?
That's correct, the 24
Which was
GO.
5-something. So it's projected that's going to have quite a bit of a balance. That's going to be able to help us with one-time expenditures in the operations fund as well.
That is correct.
As we previously discussed tonight, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
I had a question. You had, the lowest bid didn't win, correct? It didn't turn in all the information correctly?
That is
that
correct.
I don't see that on this. Am I missing it on your sheet? Or did you guys just eliminate them?
It's not on the bid tab.
It's not on the bid tab,
Or
'cause-
the letter of recommendation.
Okay, they were just way off on their figures, I'm assuming.
No, the bid packet wasn't complete.
Was not
Didn't
complete.
have the required paperwork that the state statute requires with every public bid.
Gotcha. Just curious, did see it on there. Sure.
And is the firm that you've recommended, TD Construction Company, are they Hendricks County, Greater Indianapolis area, Indiana?
Lincoln Street, about half a mile, 3/4 of a mile down the road. Very close, yes.
So local?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the 3 low bids were all local. So yeah, good interest, 6 total bids. Very pleased with how it turned out.
Just doing it the way we did, going away from the minor and agent, having a hand in it, do you feel like we saved ourselves quite a bit of money doing it this way?
I mean, we also shrunk the building. You know, the design is not the same as when they were estimating it, so it's not totally that. I do think that had something to do with it, but it's not all of it. I mean, to be fair, you know.
I'm just glad we got,
the process.
was able to let some local
Yeah.
businesses come in and bid on it, because I don't know, do these guys get to bid on the other jobs at Meyer and Agents?
Yeah, they're all public, so anybody that's qualified can bid on any of it. But I do think there's different tiers, or it raises different interest done in the different delivery methods, and the size of the job and complexity, versus across the street, something like that.
Yeah.
And given your eagle eye review of what was all planned for each of those alternates in the base plan, are you confident in saying you will not be back here later asking for, what were those called?
Contingency, right? Or no,
Change order?
change orders. Yeah.
There's never been a job without one. It just depends on where it comes from and what time, the timing of it. We do have contingency allowance built in, which we hope covers everything. It's an addition with a little bit of a renovation, so we feel pretty safe with it. But yeah, there's always changes in construction, so try to balance that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, we will now take a roll call vote.
Corey Hinsel,
Aye.
Beth Cherry,
Aye.
Christina Ward. Aye. Austin Brown,
Aye.
Jim Bryant.
Aye.
All right, that passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, School Board Policy Review, Dr. Schaefer.
Thank you. Our September meeting, the board had asked to review the ECA policy, which is School Board Policy 6610 on curricular funds. So we had a little bit of discussion on that in September, and the board requested to bring that back to discuss it further here at the October meeting. A couple of the topics we talked about a little bit were to make sure we have the treasurer's reports to the board. We talked a little bit about the timing of that, whether it be once a year, twice a year, something like that. We also talked about potential of auditing those funds because the State Board of Accounts, as we discussed, no longer does an audit on those. So that could look a couple different ways, I think. We could engage with a private auditing firm to have those formally audited. There is a cost to that. It's not a cheap one, but there is a cost to that. May well be worth the dollars expended. We also talked about maybe doing that internally, which we're not auditors. We don't have auditors. So I refrain from using the word audit there, but at least do an internal review of those accounts or reports, perhaps when those are submitted to the board. So that's what I really wanted to talk about tonight a little bit, is what would the board like to do with that? I think if I remember correctly, we talked about bringing those reports forward from the treasurers at each building, perhaps like in February, maybe in September, October, after school gets well underway, looking at those a couple times a year. Do you want to do that a couple times a year? Do you want to do it once a year? And what type of internal controls would you like to put on that, if any additional? If we talked about auditing, what would that look like to the board, or is that something that you would want to do?
My initial thought is that whether we do quarterly or biannually, or whatever the time frame, I think the policy should be updated to indicate when those reports will be brought for the board. I'm fine with it being an internal review. And again, as far as that process goes, I think it's a similar situation as we look at some of the other fund accounts. It's a matter of recognizing what monies were receipted in, what expenditures there were, and then highlighting some of the key expenditures that was part of that. That's my thinking on it.
Internal would be plenty good for me. Just knowing that somebody's got it, looking at it.
I guess it would take, for example, I think on one of the reports tonight, there was extracurricular funds had listed $15,000. I take it that's from the
Program book.
the program booklet. So to me, again, that's one of those things that, that it's publicly recognized again on some timeline that within, and that's why maybe I'm thinking, is that done by season or by semester?
Those are going to be done by season. Yeah.
By season.
So we'll have obviously a fall, a winter, and a spring.
So again, I think maybe if you did something semesterly, you did have a report showing the receipt of those funds coming into the accounts into whatever account it is, or any other account in terms of how they got their monies. So, and again, I would think that that would bubble up through the business office and be kind of presented as a separate report within the business area. That's my thinking on it. I think that provides the transparency.
I'm okay with just an internal review. Unless we find a problem, then we'll probably want to bring someone from the outside in. I think twice a year would be sufficient to review those. I'm not sure how you would break that down. You'd have, because winter sport, that kind of encompasses 2 semesters, but I think we can look at that as we go to determine how we're going to break that down, to review those things twice a year. And you may present it and we may say, hey, let's do this a little bit differently, but until you get into the nitty gritty of it, of what you're going to have to present, it's kind of hard to narrow down a whole lot what it is we.
I might
wanna see
propose
how we wanna see it.
for this year, you would do it, maybe bring it to us in June or July after a full school year, and then look at it then. For simplicity, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, that seems realistic.
That might be a good starting point, and
We'll
then
go
if we
from there.
want to see that, an update, January, February, somewhere in there, we can do that.
I just think as we go along that process, we need to make sure eventually, though, that first paragraph gets the updating of when we are anticipating it to be before the board.
To give the board a little bit of flexibility, would you want to just, we can say, biannually?
That
I don't want to paint anybody in a corner on a specific month, because I know how that gets, but
biannually gives the flexibility that
Yeah.
it could be at the end of the first quarter of the year, and then at the end of the third quarter of the year. It could be, so to me, it gives that flexibility, but at least then the board can anticipate when it's coming, as opposed to the way it's been written.
Right.
It just never happened.
So you'll add that wording and bring it back next
Yeah.
month and we'll vote
Yeah.
on it.
yeah, I'll do a little touching up to the verbiage in there and bring that back for board approval. Is that everybody good? Mrs. Ward, Mr. Brown, is that good? Sound good? Okay.
With the understanding that this year we won't get those until June or July of next year.
Just to give everybody.
We're okay with that?
Biannually being starting in 2026.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if, again, for clarity of the policy, you could always say that it's going to be done biannually, starting with the calendar year 2026. That way, the policy kind of then has an indication of when that started.
Okay. Works for me.
All right.
To adopt the policy until like December or January.
Say that again?
Do you want to wait and adopt this policy in December or January?
If it can be changed, I'm not sure why it can't be presented for adoption at the November meeting.
All right, any other thoughts or comments? Okay. The next item on the agenda, school board policy updates. Dr. Schaefer.
Thank you. Yes, before you are a set of 3 policies that we reviewed last month on a first reading. And those were updates on our student attendance, updates on the dates for the organizational meeting, which moves that back to 30 days in January as a statutory change this year. And then likewise with the teacher appreciation grant, the old grant process verbiage is no longer valid. So what they're telling us is that we can remove those from our active policies. State law says we do need to archive them, though. I'm not sure why, but we can remove them from the active policy because it no longer applies, and then we can archive that. And just if it's there for reference. And we do have an archive section in our board policy manual. So again, back for second reading. Be happy to entertain any questions you might have. Would ask the board's approval of School Board Policy 5200, 0151, organizational meetings, and 6420, teacher appreciation grant.
All right, motion to approve these school board policies as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Second. Thank you, Mrs. Ward. Comments or questions? All right, we will now take a roll call vote.
Corey Hirsel,
Aye.
Beth Cherry,
Aye.
Christina Ward,
Aye.
Austin Brown,
Aye.
Jim Bryant.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, Superintendent's Report, Dr. Schaefer.
Thank you. Yeah, just a quick update here on Lincoln Street lighting effort. This has become a bit of a joint effort between the school corporation and town of Danville, and also the redevelopment commission. And just to update you, we've been working with Duke Energy for the last probably year and a half to 2 years, thinking about what would it take to light Lincoln Street from Mackey down past the middle school here. So our particular students walking in the morning and evenings, it's better lighted because it is very dark through a couple of those stretches. Duke had come up with a couple different plans for us, and so we were looking for how to fund that. It's technically a town project because it is street lighting, but also understanding, like us, the town has limits in their budget, so we've been looking for a way to do this. Well, we reached out informally to the Redevelopment Commission here a month ago, and they indicated interest in helping us fund this. So we went back to Duke. The town brought their team on site. Duke brought a couple of their representatives on site, and we were there and walked the entire distance. And we think we have a workable plan that's also an affordable plan. Duke has also reassessed this because what they're telling us now that we can actually take LED light heads and fix those to existing wooden poles, which start down at Mackey and come up here almost to the middle school. So we can retrofit existing poles with LED light heads, which saves a lot of money because the electrical's already run down the street there. Once we get to the middle school, the poles are much, they're not there. So, and we also, and I appreciate this, the town's being sensitive to the look it would put in front of the middle school. So what we're talking about there is installing 3 to 4 steel, more ornamental types of poles that would match with across the street and give a consistent look down through here. And they have to determine yet, but they'll go at least to where our crosswalk is here at the middle school. And we believe we'll be able to probably hit all 3 drives into the middle school, because the last one down there is also where we intersect with the last street coming out of Clear Creek, which would also help pedestrians and drivers in that area. So right now it looks like about 8 retrofitted light heads on poles and 3 or 4 metal ornamental poles across the front of our property here. They would need to run the electrical for that part, of course. And we asked for an estimate. I think the rough estimate we got was in the $30,000 range, but then there was an ongoing charge monthly to the town. And that was a combination of energy, but also some of the materials, and labor. So what we're trying to do is minimize that cost for the town. The price is in a range we find to be affordable, so we're going back to Duke and saying, hey, can you take some of that ongoing cost, wrap that into the upfront cost, so we can make that payment up front, and then the town have, just the energy cost moving forward to LED lights, which would be a reasonable amount for that. So once we have that updated estimate from Duke, I know Mark Morgan spoke at the RDC meeting. He'll go back to the RDC with an updated cost and ask the RDC formally for those dollars to do that project. And I certainly supported that. Appreciate their efforts to work with us to provide lighting here for the street and overflow onto the sidewalk areas. So I wanted to give the board an update on that. That's coming along, and we appreciate the efforts of everybody involved.
So for clarity, what do you anticipate being the district's share of the cost?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing other than just, joining in the effort to try to get that done and keep everybody moving forward. And they're doing that. We, again, greatly appreciate their effort to do so.
Yes.
The cost of the town, does that run the lights all night into the morning, or is that just purely for student safety? These things are going to light up at 6 a.m. and run until 9 a.m. or 8 a.m.?
I believe they'd be on the same cycle as the other street lights,
Okay.
which would be on when we need them. I would assume it'd run a little bit later than that too, like the other lights do over in Clear Creek and other adjacent areas.
All right, next item on the agenda is announcements. Fall break will be the week of October 20th through the 24th, 2025. We will hold a special school board meeting on Monday, October 27th at 7 a.m. to discuss and approve our budget. Our next regular school board meeting is November 10th at 6:30 here in the Danville Middle School training room. That is when we will hold, as I stated previously, our second preliminary determination hearing on the building project and also the maintenance project. I need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Himsel. Can I just say all in favor for this one? All in favor?
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone.